Welcome to the season finale of Sports Talk, your weekly source for Hazleton area high school football here on WYLN, brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. I'm Marty Burns, joined once again by Hazleton area head football coach Dennis Buchman. This week we go over the regular season finale against Berwick, talk about the seniors that are going to be saying goodbye to the Hazleton area high school, and so much more in the season finale of Sports Talk, and we'll start it up right after this.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
The Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute presents Sports Talk, your weekly source for Hazleton area high school football here on WYLN. I'm Marty Burns, joined once again by Hazleton area head football coach Dennis Buchman, and fortunately, as we mentioned, went fast, but this is the season finale of Sports Talk. And Coach, not the result you wanted going into Crispin Field, but and we say no moral victories, but definitely you can't argue about the effort that your team gave you on Friday night.
Sure, it seems like that's kind of the common theme of the year here. 6 games that we lost by 1 possession, 3 games by 7 points, Friday night by 5, and 2 by 3. We had 2 choices when we went to half. When we were down 21-7, our kids chose to fight in the second half and do the only thing we know how, and that's compete hard together. At one point, it was 33-7, and from that point on, midway through the third, we outscored Berwick 27-7 at that point. Actually brought it to a 1-score game with 7.5 minutes left, and needed a big stop there. But our kids, they truly, they never give in, never give up. Really, really proud of their effort in the second half on Friday night against a good Berwick team.
Now, I think he wants this to become a regular segment, or at least portion of the show. Coach DeMelfi wanted me to ask Coach Buchman your thoughts on the fake punt that you had early in the first quarter. He wanted to know, is it something that you see on film? Is it something that you say to your staff that, hey, maybe this is something that we can do? Or is it something that you saw in the early portion of the game that you said, you know what, maybe we can do this in the fake punt? Or is it almost a combination of all 3 things?
It's a combination and kind of a culmination of the look that we got Friday night. We felt really good about the call, being at midfield, needed to make a play. We were able to get to the edge, and we actually were 2-on-1. We had numbers to the edge there. So it was something that we knew that we would be able to see from that punt look that we gave Berwick. Just weren't able to execute that at that point there. Special teams, we've been really efficient in each phase of our special teams throughout the year, and we were looking to make a big play there and be able to steal possession, so to speak, at that time in the game.
So let's get a look at some of the highlights from Friday night in Berwick, and we'll start with the running game.
We have here Ashton Carlick does a great job here. First play of the game, Brady Mazenko goes down, and it was kind of a committee approach from that point on.
And here's screen pass to Hunter Johnson.
Hunter Johnson, he truly has become the heart and soul of our football team in terms of leadership. Freddie Corrado, who played an exceptional game in his second start as a freshman. You see Hunter Johnson here once again, the effort that he has, being able to get a first down there, breaking a tackle on the edge.
And here's your first score of the night.
Absolutely. You talk about that freshman, Freddie Corrado, able to deliver a strike, being able to be calm in the pocket, step up. Xander Coleman, who had a monster game for us, scores the first touchdown. As you look here, too, you see guys then being able to work downfield as well. A bunch of Berwick defenders around Xander, and they weren't able to bring him down.
And here we see that connection of Corrado to Coleman again.
I can't say enough about Freddie, his maturity, how he's developed throughout the year, his poise, the plays he was able to make here. You have Yo-Yo Moran, another young kid, only a sophomore. Just unbelievable.
And the velocity that Freddie got on that to zip that in there to Yo-Yo also.
The ball's starting to jump off his hand as the year progressed here. That's a tough throw there in a window, being able to throw to a big body in Xander Coleman. But, you see 3 defenders around Xander. Like I said, Freddie's eyes were clean all night. His feet were calm. Hunter Johnson here is able to finish that drive off as well. We get great push up front by our offensive line. Our kids, they were hungry to prove a point in the second half in terms of competing, and we felt we were able to do that.
And I believe we look at this play twice to Yo-Yo Moran.
He's another guy. Yo-Yo from the West Scranton game, he just started to come on here in his development, had a little injury issues there, but now he was able to find his footing in the back half. We talked about Xander Coleman, 3 touchdowns on the night. He really answered the call in his final game in Hazleton Area Cougars uniform.
And here we see the athleticism of Freddie.
Absolutely. Athleticism, grit, determination. I'm so proud of this kid. I really, really am. I love him dearly. He just truly epitomizes what our program is about. You see the block there by Yo-Yo Moran, too, being able to actually block 2 defenders to spring Freddie to the edge.
And here we get the deflection catch to Bryant Diaz.
Bryant Diaz, way to stay heads up here, great eyes, great hands, making a play, and then able to get us down inside the 1-yard line once again. At this time, this brought this to a 1-score game here towards the end of the game that led to an onside kick opportunity.
And here we go to your defensive highlights, and of course, get that team defense going.
Absolutely. You see a bunch of white jerseys around the football. We've continued to improve throughout the year defensively. It's certainly because of the effort that a lot of our guys show and the commitment to one another in our program. You see time and time again here, just the willingness to be able to do your job, be one of 11, understand some keys that we were able to pick up from their offense as the game progressed as well that we felt helped us out. You see a big hit there by Xander Coleman.
And here we see the interception defensively, and we'll get a look at it twice.
How about Riley Van Gilst, the year he's had? Offensively, he really came on as the year progressed. And defensively, he didn't start the year as our starting safety. And our defense started to get better, and I feel one of the big reasons why is because of Riley Van Gilst playing safety for us, whether it was attacking the ball when it was in the air, but even more importantly, coming downhill and running the alleys for us defensively. I'm just so proud of Riley.
And we'll finish off the season with a nice return on special teams.
This was huge here. With 7.5 minutes left in the game, we were down a score. Berwick ends up driving down the field and scoring a touchdown. So we're down 2 scores here with a little over 3 minutes left. And Bryant Diaz, one of those guys that we talk about, some young guys in terms of inexperience. This is his first year playing football. And talking to him after the game and some of our younger players, they were talking about how much fun they had playing on Friday night and how it was a joy for them to be part of something where certainly we came out of the wrong side of the scoreboard. But some of these guys weren't in games before like that where they were down a big margin and were able to come back. I mean, for our program, we pride ourselves on that. We won a game against Dallas 2 years ago at Dallas when we were down 20-6 with a little over 5 minutes left and ended up winning that game in overtime. So for us, as I told our kids, the important part is understanding. From day one, I wanted our football program to take on the mentality of our community in terms of, everything must be earned. Nothing's going to be given to you. And, you come to a crossroad, as I told our kids after our game when we were in our huddle together, if we attack life like we did from that 6:30 mark in the third quarter to the end of the game, if we're able to attack everything we do in life the same way we attack that second half of the football game, our seniors are going to be incredibly successful.
Absolutely.
And our football program as a whole, with so many young guys coming back, is going to be incredibly successful because of that never give in, never give up attitude and being able to play for one another. So it was, while once again we came out on the wrong side of things, certainly, it was a great stepping stone, I feel, for this young group to understand that, number one, we do belong, and number two, if you can come back from a 33-7 game and make it a one-possession game with 7.5 minutes left, you could come back from anything. So I was really proud of our kids, proud of our coaches, proud of our program for not in our last game giving up at any point in the game, which I knew wouldn't be the case because we never have and never will.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we return, we'll hear from Coach about the graduating seniors from the Hazleton Area Cougar football team. But before that, Dr. Megan Ferderber of the Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Sports Medicine Division will talk with Ryan during our timeout segment. It's all coming up next on Sports Talk.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
Welcome back to Timeout. I'm here with Dr. Ferderberg today. Dr. Ferderberg, how is it going?
Life is going okay. Very busy, but it's okay. How about you?
Oh, fantastic. We're going to talk about ultrasound-guided procedures today.
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk a little bit about them. So one of my specialties is performing ultrasound-guided procedures for things like joint pain, for tendon pain, especially chronic tendon injuries like tendinosis, stuff like that, and also performing injections for folks who have nerve entrapment in the hands. So everybody's kind of heard of carpal tunnel syndrome, so I'll do injections for that. And for even nerve entrapments that are further down into the legs. And
tell us about this machine here.
Yeah, so this is our ultrasound unit that we have here at our site at 26 Station Circle. So this is the one that I end up using for a lot of our ultrasound guided procedures. So what we do typically is if we have a patient who's either referred by one of our other physicians, one of our surgeons, to me for something like an ultrasound guided procedure, they come in here, they're actually in this room. We evaluate them under ultrasound, and if everything looks good, if there's very few risk factors, we talk about the pros and cons of proceeding with an ultrasound guided procedure or an injection, and then we proceed with it.
And it's very important for athletes, right, to do this if they're hurt.
Yeah, so for athletes in particular, now we can have athletes who are really young athletes who are still skeletally immature. We can have some of our older athletes who actually even say older but more seasoned athletes. Both of these types of patients, both these types of athletes could accrue different types of injuries. Our younger athletes are likely going to have different injuries than some of our more seasoned athletes. And really, whenever we're thinking about pursuing some of these ultrasound guided injections, it's really going to depend on their condition. For instance, my older athletes likely are going to be developing more arthritis than somebody who's like 16, 17 years old. So our procedures might look a little different for our older, more seasoned athletes and some of our younger ones. It really is very case-by-case dependent.
Well, that's a lot of great information. I'd like to thank Dr. Ferderberg for joining us on this segment of Timeout, the last one for the regular season. We'll see you next season.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
The Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute presents Sports Talk, your weekly source for Hazleton area high school football here on WYLN. I'm Marty Burns, joined once again by Hazleton area head football coach Dennis Buchman. This is the season finale, and with the season finale, we're going to talk about the outgoing seniors. And Coach, I thought the best moment of the night for me personally happened before the game, the football even was kicked off, when I got to see Robbie Anderson come over in all suited up, ready to go, and he was all excited to tell me that he got to play the week before he was cleared, played a little bit of offense against Williamsport, and then it really seemed like he amped things up Friday night against Berwick, and it was great to see the senior be able to end his football career on his note.
Absolutely. You talk about Robbie Anderson, what he means to our program, what he means to the younger kids in our program, what he means to myself. It's everything. I mean, he truly is our emotional leader from the summer on. He's the type of young man, when he speaks, everyone listens, coaches included. He just, the buy-in, the off season that he had, the commitment that he has, the eagerness he has to win and make plays and make those around him better. It certainly was unfortunate for him this year. We had that big opening night win against Pittston, and the fourth play of our first drive in the Wallen-Paw Pack game, he goes down, and we don't have him the rest of the year until the end here. I was so happy for him to be able to go out on his terms on the football field, and his leadership, it trickled right down to his best friend in Peter Youngcourt, another senior. I truly feel Peter Youngcourt had the year that he had because of Robbie going down in some ways, because Peter realized he had to pick up where Robbie left off in terms of on the field. And every single week from week 2 on, Peter Youngcourt got better and better, not only just physically, but mentally. I mean, he really started to understand the game, ask the right questions, be able to correct guys on the field at times. His voice was the loudest in the room when it needed to be, and that was so important because those two, and then along with Brian Calcano, when you talk about those 3 up front, Brian, who was our only returning starter from last year on the offensive line, he started every game for us last year at left tackle. He missed a game this year, the Crestwood game, where we really missed him when we didn't have him and Robbie. But those core 3 guys were just a calming presence for a lot of our younger guys who either started or were in the rotation. So those 3 were everything for us in terms of up front. Also then up front, we had another senior, Sebastian Reynoso, in his first year of playing at the varsity level, saw time on defense, and really just got better and better and better. Was a guy who's only played football for 2 years. We got him out last year, and he was just a breath of fresh air, just because he's someone who just has such a great personality and has a smile on his face all the time and loves to just attack the day and get better. And rounding out that senior group up front then was Alex DeNova, who it was his first year ever playing football, came out this year, was a guy that anything and everything we asked him to do, whether it was, play on one side of the ball for our look team during the week, whether it was helping out in any capacity, he was excited and eager to do that. So with all of our seniors, I'm so thankful for them, certainly. But that O-line, D-line group of those seniors, they truly were remarkable, not only on the field, but off the field, because they're just great people.
And ultimately, I'm sure these players would have hoped that they had a full season put in. 2 of your skill guys, I'm mentioning Xander Coleman and Brady Mazenko.
Absolutely. Brady Mazenko, the year he had, unfortunately, he missed our Valley West game, and the first play of the Berwick game, he goes down with an injury. Only 107 yards away from 1,000 for the year for him. What didn't he do for us this year, right? He was a very physical downhill runner. I think he did things he didn't even know he was capable of doing, which is just great to see. He had a tough year last year, having overcome some adversity throughout the year. We really didn't see him. And, I told people, the crazy thing is, this was his first year playing offense, period. And it was the first time he's ever been a lead back in the backfield. And you wouldn't know it because there were games he touched the ball 25 times. There was one game he touched the ball 32 times. And he didn't bat an eye. And the incredible part, and you talk about the preparation in the offseason, he looked like the same back on carry 1 as he did on carry 15 and carry 20. So that's just, a testament to everything that he's done this year. Xander Coleman, another guy when he was on the field for us, as we saw Friday night, 3 touchdowns, a bunch of tackles all over the field. We had him about half the year this year. But he's a rare athlete in terms of you have that size at about 6'2", 230. but the way that he can move at that size. We put him as slot receiver. At one point when we lost Carlos Gonzalez during the football game, when he went down early in the first quarter too and made play after play after play, it was just truly remarkable there. Jacob Agramonte is another guy who, just came every single day, worked hard, was a joy to be around, did everything and anything we asked. And rounding out that senior group certainly was Levi Kurtz. We talk about having an X factor in terms of place kicking and punting, and the way that he was able to flip the field this year. And he was really important for us. I jokingly said to him, "Man, you would have been really big last year," So Levi, it was a really big get to have him this year in his senior year. Just proud of Levi. He's competing with our soccer team in a district semifinal against Valley West. Was able to juggle both of those sports all year long, and just somebody with all those seniors, they're all going to accomplish a lot of great things here. And I could assure you that our community is in great hands with those 9 guys.
And we're going to wrap things up for the 2023 season of Sports Talk right after this.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
Welcome back to Sports Talk, the season finale of this 2023 campaign. I'm Marty Burns, joined again by Hazleton area head football coach Dennis Buchman. And Coach, we get to the end of this season, and for me personally, first and foremost, we've got to thank our great production crew. For a lot of them, the first time they ever worked with us, and they did an outstanding job. I mean, having to put up with me is work enough, but they did an outstanding job, and can't thank them enough. And you and your staff and your team allowed me to go on another ride with you guys for this season, and I can't thank you enough. Another quality group of young men that came on for the show. As you mentioned a couple times, the world's going to be a better place for this group once they become men. And just thank you so much for having us along with you on this 2023 campaign.
Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. And certainly thank you to everybody who supports, all the fans out there who've been supportive all year long, our school community, administration, WILN, certainly you. You know what I think about you. So thank you so much. And, thank everybody who's continued to allow this program to develop. We have great kids. And as you see all the time as you're around us here, it's exciting. A lot of young guys who are returning, and we're looking forward to having a great off season and kicking off the 24 season.
Well, Coach, as always, thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much. Go Cougars.
And all the fans out there, thank you for joining us all season long. So for the Hazleton area football Cougars and coaching staff, especially head coach Dennis Buchman, I'm Marty Burns for the final time in 2023 saying so long. Thank you for joining us, watching Sports Talk brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute.